Seems like being human can bring difficulties and challenges to our life just by living every single day. And sometimes I think we have an expectation that God wouldn't allow us to go through certain difficulties or challenges or struggles. And yet the Bible is pretty clear. It talks about we enter the kingdom by going through many tribulations, many difficulties, many challenges in life. So what should our perspective be when it comes to some of the trials that we go through? There's an interesting passage that's over in 1 Corinthians. And in this section of Scripture, it tells us a little bit about God's perspective. And I think it's one thing that maybe when we're wondering what God is doing, it could help kind of give us a perspective that He has. It says in verse 13, "No temptation has overtaken you except such as is common to man." So being human brings certain challenges. It says, "God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able." And so oftentimes we'll stop right there and we'll say, well, why is this such a difficult trial for me? Because it says God's not going to try me more than I'm able. So you read on, it says, "With the temptation will also make the way of escape, that you may be able to bear it." So oftentimes we may consider this and we'll pray that God would remove a difficulty or a challenge or a trial, a struggle, and yet oftentimes He doesn't. So does that cause us then to lose faith? Well, it shouldn't. Maybe part of the prayer should be what this passage is also pointing to. Because there's no doubt times where He will remove a challenge. He will fix an issue. He will help us to get around that difficulty. But this also points to the fact that He makes us able to bear it, which doesn't seem to mean He just removes the difficulty. Instead, He helps us through it. And so maybe that should be our perspective at times when we're going through challenges, to ask God to give us the strength to bear it. Because sometimes He will save us from our trials, and other times He will help us through our trials. Either way, we do have the assurance that God's not going to leave us. He's not going to forsake us, because this same passage reminds us God is faithful, and He will help in our time of need. That's BT Daily. We'll see you next time.